Welcome to VSB News Online for Thursday, December 4th. I'm Peter Kitzel. General Harvey Schiller, chairman of the America's Cup Event Authority, says there is nothing elitist about the international sailors who will be flocking to Bermuda over the next 3 years. In an interview with VSB News' Brian Darby, he likened them to the U.S.-based personnel who over the years have come to Bermuda and become assimilated in the community.
Starting in this spring, we're going to put some people permanently here, move them out of San Francisco and put them here. So that'll, and 2 or 3 of them have new babies, so they'll be coming as well. So
they'll be renting homes and everything else?
Renting homes and apartments and whatever they can find in the community. This is not a hotel kind of issue. You know, we can't afford that. So we're, and that'll start right away. And as we add more people, that'll happen as well. We really don't want to be in a position of relocating people from anywhere in the world because that gets expensive. So wherever we can, we want to be able to add to our staff from people here. That's an economic issue. If we can find the quality people that we need, we're going to hire them here.
The series, of course, is quite different to the 17 event. That's the final. That's the I suppose you're qualifying in that year too. But this is something that goes around the world, rather like a Grand Prix event.
It goes around the world, and we'll be starting in Italy in June of next year, and then we'll be moving from there to Portsmouth, England, and then to Gothenburg, Sweden, and then here in late September, early October. But aside from the commercial aspects like TV and others, which will be come out of New York City, which is only an hour and something, so people like myself will be back and forth here from there. But the day-to-day activities of America's Cup will all be directed from Bermuda from now on. No, San Francisco's over. We're going to be here. So our lawyers, our accountants, and all of those, they'll be here, starting in March or April.
When you hear that this is an historic moment for Bermuda, you can believe it.
Oh yeah, that's been said, but America's Cup has been a Tier 1 sport for a very long time, and part of our goal is to keep elevating it into the public's minds, and this is the right place to do it. So, look, you can't ask for a better place for day-to-day weather and having the sailors out on it, but it's more than just sailing. This is, you almost have to do as much off the water as you do on the water, and it's been mentioned about educational programs and others. But we have to bring our sponsors in here early. We have to get them in here so they feel comfortable for their guests and their hospitality. I'm not trying to make light of the cruise ships that come here, but they come and go. We're going to be here. Yeah, we're not a big difference, and we'll, as I said, we'll be part of the whole community. I feel that way already. Everybody's been super, and people walking down the street have said hello. And
that was a big parade yesterday. I'm quite surprised.
Yeah, well, I can't quite fit into a mini very well, but it was okay. But the best parts were the children just waving their flags and saying hello and excited. That kind of excitement you don't see in many places.
A grim reminder last night that gun violence is still very much in the forefront of island life. More gunshots in Warwick last night, but no injuries, as VSB News' Chris Lodge reports.
While many were celebrating the America's Cup in Hamilton, the sound of shots rather than fireworks out in Warwick. Police say sometime around 5:30 p.m. there was shooting in the Warwick area with suspects on a motorbike firing at a residence. Police media manager Dwayne Keynes confirming a firearms incident took place at a residence on Cedar Hill in Warwick. It appears that 2 men on a motorbike rode next to a home and discharged the weapon. They left the area on the motorbike. No one was injured. Police asking anyone who was in the area of Cedar Hill and Tribe Road number 6 who may have seen anything suspicious to contact the police. I'm Chris Lodge, VSB News.
After PLP Senator Mark Daniels expressed his concerns in the Senate about how widespread will be the benefits of the America's Cup largesse, government leader Senator Michael Fay had this response.
To me, this is something that Bermuda is in dire need of to showcase our island. And I also believe that it is going to be a tremendous job producer for Bermuda. I think this is something that will see the major jump start that we have been looking for and really, really require. I can tell you that in the many discussions that I have had in the last 2 years, especially when this bidding process started in past February, the excitement from hotel developers that perhaps if this America's Cup was granted to Bermuda, that would be the impetus that they need to finalize financing. That's the impetus they need to build and get full rooms in 2 years' time when they'd be in a position to open. And already this morning I've spoken to one of the developers who's incredibly thrilled, and I know he's going to continue to proceed and do what they need to do. On the back of an announcement, we see further investment at the Hamilton Princess. The back of an announcement, $1 million. So I think it's wrong when anybody out there can say that perhaps there are not major advantages to the America's Cup. This is something that I don't care if the sailors are green men from space. The fact of the matter is that this is an event that is going to be seen around the world and will bring jobs for everyone in Bermuda.
The National Hurricane Center having now confirmed what most residents suspected, that Faye was not a strong tropical storm, but in fact a Category 1 hurricane, VSB News' Brian Darby thought to ask James Dodson, Deputy Director of the Bermuda Weather Service, if the change of classification was unusual.
Not completely unprecedented. The reason it's been done is largely due to the fact that when these tropical storms or hurricanes move over the ocean areas, the National Hurricane Center often use a satellite classification technique, and they also use the hurricane hunters to provide data that gives wind speeds down at the surface. But these are wind estimates; they're not what's actually captured necessarily at the surface of the Earth.
So figures that were taken here in Bermuda were actually essential, obviously.
Exactly. So looking at the effects of Faye as it moved across the island, we were able to obviously register quite a lot of data across the island with our automated weather observing stations, as well as the weather station we hear at the airport at the weather office. And with that data, feeding back that data, and also some very extensive data we were able to provide from the Doppler radar over at Cooper's Island, the specialists at the National Hurricane Center in Miami were able to do a very rigorous post-analysis of Faye and come to the decision that it had in fact reached hurricane strength as it moved across Bermuda.
By which time, in a way, it was too late. We couldn't do much about that, could we?
Well, that's one of the reasons why we provided the public, the EMO and so on, with that hurricane watch on the Saturday prior to the event, because we were concerned with it being a very strong tropical storm that it could intensify to a weak Category 1 hurricane.
Now, this goes down in history because now we have numbers for how many hurricanes there are every year. Now it's gone up one, obviously.
Yes, indeed. Yep, and with Gonzalo, that's 2 hurricanes within a 6-day period, which is fairly unprecedented. Not completely unprecedented. I have looked back at the history. It has happened before, but it is obviously a rare event to have 2 hurricanes within a week.
And we'll be back with more news right after this.
The Marketplace Food Court is you and your family's one-stop shop. Start your day at the Breakfast Bar with omelets made to order and traditional Bermuda codfish breakfast. The chefs will cook lunch and dinner to your liking. Along with the salad bar, sandwich bar, sushi bar, and fruit bar, the Marketplace Food Court is your kitchen away from home. Every day is hassle-free with nutritious meals from the Marketplace Food Court. Visit us 7 days a week. Homemade cooking, quality service, all at prices you can count on.
A team of bus operators and students are volunteering their time from December 6th to the 9th to collect foodstuffs for charities at Christmas. It's called Stuff the Bus, and the Public Transportation Board and the Bermuda Institute are pooling their skills to ensure that designated buses are stuffed and distributed to the charities. Tourism Minister Sean Crockwell, Antonio Bailey, President of the Bermuda Institute Students Association, and Glenn Simmons, bus operator, kick off the initiative.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for coming. It is indeed a treat for me to be here at my beloved alma mater. and I am pleased to see some of my former teachers here today. It is my pleasure to announce a new community service project called Stuff the Bus. The Bermuda Institute Student Association has joined forces with the Department of Public Transportation in an effort to make a difference in our community over this holiday season. This initiative is designed to collect non-perishable goods and toys that will be distributed to selected charities and will take place from December 6th to December 9th from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. The Department of Public Transportation has very generously donated buses to collect the donations from various locations around the island, and we are most grateful for those bus operators who have agreed to donate their time to drive the buses on those nights.
From December 6th to the 9th, we will be situating a bus starting from St. George's Square from 6 to 7, and from 7 to 8, we will be setting the bus at Kinley Field. And then on the Sunday night, from 6 to 8, we will have the bus stationed at the aquarium parking lot. On Monday night, from 6 to 8, we will be up here, Warwick Lindos. And on the Tuesday night, we will be at the old hitching post.
And I just wanted to share the fact that we at Public Transportation, we do a lot of good things in the community. We want to take care of our seniors as well as our children. And as a young man that actually came to the podium, he's a personal friend of mine. I used to bring him to school very, very early, and to see him speaking there, it started to bring somewhat tears to my eyes. And I just want to let the general public know that these type of initiatives are vitally important in our time. And yesterday I was actually at the cabinet reeling the America's Cup. And if we can reel around things of these types of things, it's wholesome for Bermuda. And I want to share with each of my partners that's going to take place from next week Sunday on to Tuesday. I just want to thank each and every one of them for coming out to be a part of this.
The charities benefiting are the Salvation Army, the Coalition for the Protection of Children, Teen Services, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, the Lions Club, the Sunshine League, and Hands of Love. First was the tickets for the Yo-Yo Ma concert that sold out in a few hours. Now it is the first local concert by Rebecca Falconberry that is a sellout. Sure signs of the 2015 40th Bermuda Festival of the Performing Arts is going to be a smash hit. In this, the first of a two-part interview with Karen Pollard, festival director, VSB News seeks to find out what is causing this inspired beginning.
We're starting actually with the English Chamber Orchestra, and they are coming early, and 6 of them, at any rate, their education team, and they're going to work in the schools for the week leading up to the opening of the festival. And then, because it's the anniversary, we're having our official opening on the steps of City Hall when His Excellency the Governor will make a brief announcement or opening. We've commissioned a fanfare to be written by the regiment commander, which is very nice, of the band, director of music at the band. And we're going to have all of the people who took part in the workshops taking part in this particular performance. So we're hoping for 200, 300, maybe even more in the orchestra. So it's going to fill that whole forecourt, I think, of City Hall, which is pretty exciting. And then we lead on to the orchestral concerts, and then we have 2 local soloists. We have Kent Haywood, who is going to play a horn concerto, and then we have Matthew Ross, who's going to play trumpet. So pretty exciting.
There's your local offering.
They are some of them, yeah. We also have Rebecca Falconberry, who's doing I think it's really the first time in a big venue she's done a concert all on her own. She's bringing her trio with her, and I think it's going to be a pretty exciting night of jazz, a mixture of music. It's just the music that she likes, and she'll talk in between. And that's already sold out, so it'll be returns only for that concert. But there probably will be returns. We always have a few returns for every event.
Do you have people who've been given tickets as part of the patronage who do not use them?
No, I wouldn't say we do. No, the patrons, our individual patrons, are our very, very loyal supporters, and they always give us an extra donation. You know, the amount that they pay us is enough for all the tickets, plus an additional donation. And so they do it because they're supporters of the arts, and they come and they want to be there.
And in sports, another nation's swimming record was broken in Doha. National cricketer's bowling action legal, and former Bermuda Olympian explains what the America's Cup sailors will experience on the waters of the Great Sound. Earl Baisden has this and much more in our sports report.
On the second day of competition in Doha, Qatar, at the 12th FINA Short Course World Swimming Championships, Roy Allen Birch swam a new Bermuda record in the 50-meter freestyle. Birch's time of 21.80 saw him win Heat 14 and finish 23rd overall. Meanwhile, Alan Douglas Jr.'s bowling action has been deemed legal by the ICC. During yesterday's celebration of the America's Cup in Bermuda, Peter Brumby was asked, what can the sailors expect on the waters of the Great Sound? The 2014 North American Caribbean Rugby Association's NACRA Sevens are underway in Mexico City, with Bermuda's men's and women's rugby teams taking to the field. Both teams ended day one with records of 2 wins and 1 loss. The Bermuda women's team went down 31-0 to Mexico before bouncing back to defeat Jamaica 17-5. They then closed out the day defeating the Bahamas 30-0. The Bermuda women's team will face St. Lucia in their quarterfinal match. The men's team won their opening match 47-0, defeating St. Lucia. They then recorded a 45-0 win over the British Virgin Islands. They fell 33-10 to Barbados. Bermuda's men's team will now face Trinidad and Tobago in their quarterfinal matchup. Last night at the BAA field, the PHC Zebras and Hamilton Parish battled in the Friendship Trophy match. These two teams met just 3 days ago on the spacious Wellington Oval, with Hamilton Parish coming away with the win. PHC Zebras dominated the play early in the match but found themselves down 1-0 after 20 minutes. Ryan Terrell picked up the ball some 30 yards out, carried it forward some 5 yards before unleashing a right-footed shot that flew into the back of the PHC Zebras net, giving the goalkeeper no chance. 8 minutes later, the match was leveled. One of the first times the PHC Zebras had knocked the ball over the top of the Hamilton Parish defense saw Lonnie Bascom outpace his defender before delivering a pass into the path of Sequoia Robinson, whose right-footed shot went in off the upright from some 15 yards out. The two teams went to the break locked at 1-1. The second half saw another battle, but it only produced 1 goal, and that came from Robinson, who found the back of the net in the 63rd minute to earn PHC Zebras a 2-1 win and a right to move on in the Friendship Trophy. Round 3 saw another beautiful day at the Belmont Hills Golf Club for the third round of the Gosling's Invitational Golf Tournament. P.H. Horgan's very consistent three-day rounds of 66, 69, and 68 has put the 2004 and 2006 Gosling's Invitational winner tied at 7 under par 203 with 2010 winner Bill Walsh, who carded a 70, 68, and 65. Brian McCann is not too far behind at 3 under par, 207 for the professional division. In the senior professional division, has Donnie Jarvis holding a 3-day lead with scores of 73, 73, and 78 for 14 over par, 224. He's followed closely behind by John Rushnow, who edged out John Brott to take second place with a 16 over par, 226. Brott is one back at 17 over par. Stephen DaCosta has had an amazing 3-day run in the Open Amateur Division with an impressive 22-stroke lead, which also places him 4th overall. DaCosta is edged out of the top position by the 3 professionals Horgan, Walsh, and McCain. The Senior Amateur Division has Glenn Kelly continuing to lead at the top of the division with a total of 12 over par, 222. Have Trott's 3-day total of 22 over par, 232, sees him in second place with Max Atherton, 35 over par, to take third place in the division. A total of 211 points were scored as the Cell 1 Island Basketball League continued inside the Summersfield Academy Gymnasium last evening with a men's doubleheader. With the Christmas and New Year's break approaching, the Crossfire Ballers will go into that break with a record of 5 wins and 1 loss, following their 67-42 win over the now 3-3 Twisters. The Crossfire Ballers were led to victory by Dean Jones with a game-high 21 points, while Garrick Clark scored 11 points for the Twisters. The Hoop Stars moved to 3-3 on the season following their 55-47 win over Skyforce, who are now 2-4. Johnny Lugo scored 18 points for the Hoop Stars, while Calvert Lee scored 17 points for the Skyforce. I'm Earl Baisden reporting for VSB Sports.
Thanks for watching VSB News Online for Thursday, December 4th. I'm Peter Cattell.